Who gets a seat at the table? I feel this is an important question to ask both in stories and in real life, because who's getting a seat at the table is a question that is all about who we are surrounding ourselves with, who we are taking counsel from. And again, that can really change our lives and also change how stories end up. Now, I think the archetypical example of kind of a seat at the table is the Knights of the Round. And I'm trying to use its dabbler here, but it came out looking like a lightsaber. But anyway, depending on the story or the rendition or however you want to say it, because again, Arthurian legend has been changed throughout the years, knights would sometimes earn their seat at the table by besting Sir Tay in a battle, and Sir Tay being the adopted brother of King Arthur. But then there was kind of that thing of earning a seat at the table, not just being given it. So that can kind of throw things in a wrench because it often seems like people almost expect to have a seat at the table instead of earning it. And again, that can tell our stories and kind of shape how we view real life as well. So it's kind of an important question to consider is why is this person getting a seat at the table? Because the whole thing about tables is that it's like a council or a team. There's an organization for a goal. Now the goal may be loosely defined, but it's still kind of what is the purpose of this kind of table? What is the goal that the people around it are trying to reach? And that's kind of important to keep in mind because one of the benefits of the table is actually having different perspectives coming in, not just having one person trying to achieve the goal on their own. They're having a fuller view of the situation, at least that's to be expected, because then different perspectives can be for good or ill. Because if someone is a part of the table but doesn't actually share the same goal that everyone else does, then their advice may lead to achieving their goal more than the goal that the table was established for. So it's important to kind of be aware of that. Even though it creates interesting stories, it can also derail our plans in real life. Because we might also want to ask ourselves is, why do we want a seat at that table? Now again, some people want to be seated at a table because they actually want to be affirmed. They want to have a bunch of yes men people that just kind of praise their ideas and say, oh yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, did right on that. This is a perfect plan, boss. And all those kinds of things. Yet the problem with that is that there's not really a different perspective there. There's not anyone to say, hey, I think we need to re-examine this idea and maybe table it for now. We can come back to later, but I think we need to do our research on this before we invest further in it. Whereas the yes men are like, yes, yes, go for it, go for it, go for it. So what happens is that the yes men are hitching their wagons basically to a rising star. Yet if that rising star suddenly starts to fall, then the yes men kind of abandon it and don't look for the next one. They're kind of all about the hype and the kind of rise and the benefits rather than actually being this is a goal we are achieving together. So that's kind of one of the things to really pay attention to is wow, the yes men really sounds appealing and can really feed our egos. It's generally not for our good long term. But another thing to think of is that concept of bringing your own chair to a table. Is that if you have to bring your own chair to the table, why not make your own table then, rather than having to drag the chair around to wherever you're trying to sit? But this perspective probably has an idea to do with there being a finite thing or a finite table, when really it's like if you can't get a piece of the pie, why not just make your own pie? And then it's where are you looking for? Are you looking at the pie in front of you, or are you looking at the fact that there's a pantry full of ingredients right next to you that you can pretty much make any pie you want from? So it's like, what is your perspective? Are you viewing things as finite and limited, or are you seeing things as almost unlimited and full of opportunity? It's what your perspective is on why you're looking at the table in general. And again, we can both think of how this motivates our characters and also what kind of things are we seeing in real life that reflect this. Another thing to think of is, does someone actually want to be part of the table? Do they have that shared goal that I was talking about earlier? Or do they just want to have the power that is associated with being at that table, being in that position. And again, that's kind of another thing of watching out for ego in a sense, because again, people do sometimes have it. They want to be recognized, they want to be affirmed. And again, there's that isn't always bad, but some people always want to be affirmed, and they always want to have that kind of ego high in a sense. They don't ever want to be told they're wrong. So the thing is that an honest person going to the table has to be ready to admit that they are probably don't want to be told they're wrong at times, even when they actually may be right. So then there's kind of that different perspectives, but it's like, what are you aiming for there? So it's kind of like the check in ourselves, but also the check in both characters for motivation. And then different motivations create conflict and dynamics and with characters that creates drama and attraction. But the thing is that is important on who is actually a part of our circles. Again, there's like that common saying of we are the average of the 5 people we associate with. And again, while it's fun to play with that in stories and create drama and so forth, when we bring that drama into our own lives, it can get really messy really quick. But then this is kind of my thoughts and my take on it, so why not share yours in the comments below? And if you enjoyed this video, you can like and share it so that others may enjoy as well. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to our channel. Anyway, I'm Jonah, and you've been watching Lions Made Media, where we celebrate stories and the lessons learned from them. Thank you for listening to my musings. Talk to you later, and have a great rest of your day.